it's fascinating because like as a topic, like people voting against their own interests and like
Yeah,
how that happens, right?
exactly.
Like Antonio Gramsci talks about that, like in the prison notebooks. He puts out his idea of like cultural hegemony is the concept. Sorry, and he just talks about how you have like this hegemonic culture thing that people want to identify with, and
Mm.
then that in turn, shapes them, and it becomes this compounding self feedback loop of strengthening, right?
Right.
But what I think people end up doing is they take whatever their rural Ontario idea of what it means to be, say, Canadian, right? This is a good Canadian. This is what Canada should be. But then they kind of like project that onto the national ethos
Right.
for that same feedback loop, right? But it's always plucked from things that aren't real, and that's what Gramsci talks about, where like people look back at something and then they want to go, this is what it means to be a man, right? So you have like a cowboy mystique, you know what I mean? And I drive a truck because I'm a man. I got my Ford truck because that's what men drive, because that's what those guys used to drive when they were out on the ranch. It's like, yeah, but they weren't in love with their truck.
Right.
Like that was just a utility. They just couldn't take a Honda Accord across the creek. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like they weren't like, this hat is the greatest cowboy hat. This is my man hat. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
they did that because of skin cancer.
Yes.
Like, they weren't wearing flannel because it was a pattern that looked good to them. They were wearing it because that was the shitty cloth you could buy that would keep you warm when it was cold outside.
Right.
Like the aesthetic of it that people are trying to replicate, on their huge truck and the cowboy boots and whatever, and then you're parked in suburbia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you might as well put on spurs and just fuck up your floorboard. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense what you're doing. You're an accountant. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being an accountant, but let's not act like you need to be dressed like at any moment a steer might get loose. Like
Right.
you don't need to do that.